just the untouted granddaddy of post-war trading cards. You could go for all of vintage cards. There may be no single card which is more iconic and carries more notoriety than the 52 Topps Mickey Mantle. This is the card. This is the granddaddy of cards. Growing up, when we would reference trading cards and the allure of them, this was always the card which was on the covers of magazines, and which even people who didn't even know what trading cards were, those people recognize this card above all others. That makes it, the pervasive representative of the market in so many ways. And as it sits, this is just one of those cards that transcends traditional trading card hobby-esque mindsets. As we look at investors coming into the space, what we want to position in are these cards that the general public most recognizes, because that's where the demand, and especially the future demand, is likely to stem from. This is the card which really leads the charge for vintage. Offered here is a PSA 6. It has attributes which for us put it in that top half of X-Men examples that we've seen. We have maybe a 5 to 10 point centering shift at the most, right to left. Top to bottom is almost perfect. We have a little bit of color loss here, maybe a small spot of surface wear that caused that, but overall that's maybe the only surface blemish that's really worth noting. Overall, the aesthetics of this card are superior to what we would typically see for an X-Men level. Love the centering. You could do far worse from a centering perspective. The corners are square, and what is also true is the color and like the vibrancy of this card, it really pops. There's a warmth to it. It's not as subdued as a lot of 52 Mantles are. This thing really just kind of jumps off the plate, and it might just be because it's maybe a little glossier than some, but it really does have a vibrancy that isn't always all that typical. Front and back, everything seems aligned and upholding the X-Men assessment. And again, I think there are some attributes which you could argue are better than traditional X-Men copies. Certainly the corners are, I would say, at least X-Men quality. This upper right there was probably the most worn, but overall just square, well-formed corners. The borders are evenly toned in kind of a sepia, typical coloring. From the back, very similar to the front. No major flaws to speak of, just very light wear to the periphery. So all told, just this world-class kickstart to the high number series from 52 Topps. It just happens to be, what many people call a rookie card, certainly rookie era. It's just, this is the most coveted post-war trading card in our opinion, from a vintage perspective at least, and we're delighted to have this one up for bid. For those who have been waiting for a mid to high grade example that really checks some of those upper echelon attributes, this one certainly is one worth considering, and we wish the bidders the best of luck.